Hello and welcome to the Advanced Age Role-Playing Heroes podcast. We're doing another Silver Alert from GenCon 2024. We've got Jeff Mechlinski here from SMG.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good. It's good con. How are you? How about you?
I'm sweaty, and I'm hoping it's not showing up too much on the camera. But it's great. We met a few years ago at PAX Unplugged.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we talked about the Robotech role-playing game last time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now you have a Kickstarter that is currently live. Can you talk
Yes.
about that a little bit?
Yeah. So it's our Kickstarter. I have a board for it here, Among the Stars. So what we have done is we've broken up Robotech into sagas. And the first saga, which is the MACROSS Saga, also has the core rules. So it has two parts. MACROSS Saga, core rules. Well, our next book, Homefront, which we ran a Kickstarter for and fulfilled earlier this year, that has the next two parts. So that would be Saga 2 and 3, which is Masters and New Gen. And of course, the 4 factions. So now our current Kickstarter, Among the Stars, is factions 4 and 5, which would be Shadow Chronicles and Sentinels. And it has, of course, the factions that go along with them. Yeah.
That's great. So what's the response been like so far?
Well, we had a great first day, great first day on Kickstarter. We did $65,000 the very first day, and it's been just tracking up. So, obviously we're trying to hype it up as much as we can. We did it without a lot of advertising. So we had, the hardcore Robotech fans, they've jumped in, but I feel like a lot of people haven't really heard about it or know about it.
Yeah, honestly, if I wasn't following you guys or Dr. Witz on Twitter,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't know about it. So
Right.
this is, when you're a small game designer, a
Right.
lot of it really is word of mouth, right?
Yeah, so much of it is, building the brand, and basically we really have to convince people that we create great products. We have to do a lot of demoing. We have to do a lot of work. So at our booth here at GenCon, we have to prove our games are good. So we do that through demoing, and people play them, then they like them and spend their money. And that we're really competing against whatever money they've left over after they've chosen their predominantly big box game from these better known game publishers. Sorry.
Right. I mean, the nice thing is Robotech is such a strong brand. There's a lot of folks that grew up watching the shows, and this is a way for them to like relive some of that get some of that nostalgia from watching those shows. So as kind of the holder of this IP, how do you kind of treat? What's your approach to like treating the brand with the reverence that maybe the people that are really Robotech fans?
Well, it's definitely challenging because Robotech means different things to different people. And, as Abraham Lincoln said, you can please some people all the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. And, unfortunately, that's just, there's a vocal minority of people that don't like our stuff, and that's okay. They can have their opinions. But we're just trying to create the best product we can make and really design it for that Robotech experience. So our RPGs are top-down designed. So we came up with design criteria and based the play off of that criteria. We're basically trying to solve problems. So, one problem is, you have a bunch of ace pilots, they're flying their jets around, everybody has gunnery, everybody has the highest agility they can have. We got rid of all that. So we can have a bunch of ace pilots, they all have different skill sets, but they're still all ace pilots. They can all perform their role as they need to. And that really allows the players to have a lot of fun because there's a lot of game space that can be employed and really explored by the players. They get to do a lot of stuff within that space, and that makes them feel like the entertainer. That makes them feel like the bridge officer. It makes them feel like the ace pilot.
So, are there with the Kickstarter? Are there like new classes? What do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So basically, with every book we have, the classes in Robotech act as an umbrella. So we don't. I think our main book has like 8 classes. We add like 1 or 2 classes per book. We're not trying to add a ton,
Right.
and we're really trying to make those classes. If we could, we wouldn't add any, but we want to follow the fiction. So we add the classes because it's what you have in Robotech. And we're trying to stay true to the fiction, so we put them in. If you have the alien ace pilot, we don't need to make another ace pilot category. You're still an ace pilot, you just get a different ship. You know what I mean? So that's how we kind of handle it. But we also, we do have new so players engage conflicts in the system, and there's a lot of different kinds of conflicts. It could be a flood or a building falling on a school, a bomb somewhere, a ton of enemies. Those are all conflicts. So we do add new conflict types. Like for Homefront's very like on the ground, very scavenger. So we added like a nomad class. That was one of the things we added because we felt like we needed to add that. But we also added a few new talents, a few new so for that. So if you're scavenging, you might get a few extra things if you take the scavenger talent, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. So as far as like gameplay goes, is there like is it still kind of the same game whether you're in a Mac or outside of a Mac or?
yeah. So the way it's really, because obviously as the designer I can talk about the efficacy, for hours, right? But to try to be brief about it is that you get actions that are very clear what they do. So you say, I'm doing this action, and then you apply a skill to that, and that skill is your approach on how you want to do it. So that really allows the players to kind of really engage the fiction at the point of attack. And that's really what's been as we've slowly brought people onto the system, right? As they've slowly believe in it and they played it and they realize what they're doing and that's rewarding for them, word of mouth is spreading, and now more and more people are coming in and realizing, oh wow, this is a different way of role playing, right? And it's very egalitarian. So if you're a bridge officer, you just basically roll your skills, you get your successes. Successes are chunks of things, which is really great for this type of system because those chunks of things could be shooting the enemy planes, right? Or they could be convincing an enemy to give up, or they could be putting out fires. But if you're like a bridge officer, you can take your chunks and say, I'm attacking through this squad, and that squad's out there doing something. And the GM puts that there. And now you basically can make an attack, but you're actually not pulling the trigger. You're giving orders, and that order is creating the attack. Now, if that squad starts to get beat up and hurt, they start taking losses, then you start making that attack with penalties, right? Or let's say they're held up, they're in hand-to-hand combat, and they can't make these attacks you want them to make. Then another player could come in, flush out those enemies, and now you have your squad again. So everybody really gets to play their roles, and they get to play them in the way they understand it, which is very, very rewarding.
Yeah, because you're just not just like flavoring a gunslinger 5 different ways. You're
right. So basically in a typical sort of bottom up game, you're going to fire your gun, and then GM's gonna be okay, you blew the side off. What does that mean? You blew the side off? Well, it's just hit points of damage, and that's okay. But it's more fun when you actually do something with we assume all our Marines know how to fire their guns. Yeah. So fire gun isn't a skill. The skill is ambush tactics. And that means that Marine is good at ambushing using his gun and using his grenades, right?
So how would that, say you're doing an ambush, how would that resolve? I'm trying to get the flavor of...
So basically, you're using your gun to attack, right? You have to have something to attack with, right? You need to have a threat. Yeah. So as long as you have a threat, you then pull a skill out, and that skill is really an intent. What is the intent of what you want to do? And so, for example, if you're a Marine and let's say you have fade to black, right? Fade to black would be you disappear. Let's say you have ambush tactics. Well, you start building like a special forces, hidden sort of scout type character, right? Versus if you're playing a Marine, you take skills like hunker down or spray and pray, right? These are or it's actually rapid fire, right? You take other skills. So a skill like rapid fire, what does it give you? It gives you a deluge. You get a lot of something. But you get a drawback with it. What's that drawback? Well, you're not accurate. So if someone's holding a hostage, you don't be like, I'm going to use rapid fire. That's not the right skill to use in that situation. So what you're doing is you're employing your skills with the fictional positioning. So, well then how would you help a hostage situation? Well, you have something called precise strike or precise attack. And that's another skill. And that's how you are being precise. So that is a skill you want to use to, shoot the terrorist in the head or shoot his gun out of his hand or whatever it is and not harm the hostage.
Is it a dice pool that you assemble from these different...
Yes. So you do have skill values. So for example, your fade to black skill may be 3, your ambush tactics may be 2, but you can use 2 skills at the same time. So you can take a 4 and a 1 or a 2 and a 3. We have limits on the amount of dice you can roll. Then you start damaging yourself. You can roll more, but you start damaging yourself. And as you progress, you can roll more and more dice, so you unlock the ability to get more options.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I have a much better understanding of how the game plays now.
Yeah. Basically, if you were to do something if you're the GM and you put a bunch of bad guys out there, or whatever, a bunch of conundrums, and you have a bunch of players, and just forget about character sheets and say, well, what would you do in this situation? Right? You might say, well, I want to convince that guy. I want to use, right? And that's how our system works. You just sort of look at your sheet, figure out what is the best thing you can do in this situation, and
You think about the result, and then it's like how
Yeah,
to,
it's a
using
process.
using your what's on your character sheet to justify how
Yeah.
you're going to get there.
and it's so rewarding for the
Yeah.
players because they actually feel like now the flanking maneuver works. Because in this situation, flanking works. So you say I'm flanking. Well, what if they track your flanking? Well, then another teammate can distract the enemy. Now that doesn't see your track, right? And you can use skills like I'm going to fade to black, and then ambush tactics. I'm going to attack. So how are you attacking with fade to black? Well, they don't see me, right? But what do you have to do to get fade to black or make fade to black work well? Is you need to be in a position where you can just sort of fade into the crowd.
That's great. So, any parting thoughts about GenCon life or anything else?
Well, making books is hard. We really try to put the best art and the best playability into our games, into all our products. And if you like, easy entry kind of products that have like a little extra grab that have a lot of replayability, we really hope you come check out our games, both our board games and our role-playing games.
I tell you, I have to say from the first interview, I just remembered that your passion for what you do, and it really shows through. So it's great getting to see you again after a couple of years, and I'm gonna wipe off my.
That's okay. We're good.
Oh my God, it's gross. But thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you got something out of it. Check them out. What's your website?
So we're strangemachines.com, and we also have a strong Discord. You can get to all our social media links on our website. We really highly encourage people to check out our Discord because we have a really strong community there. Yeah. They can answer questions, and in fact, if I can't answer immediately, we have a lot of people that know the information, act as a mouthpiece for us. We have our Kickstarter live right now for Among the Stars, so please come check that out. Tell your friends. Everyone's got a friend that likes Robotech.
Yeah.
So we see it here.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to call my friend, and then they buy something for their friend.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jeff. It's good to see you, and
absolutely.
take care, everybody.
All right. Thanks, camera guy.